Peggy 12.
Which came first? The spaceships or the game?
I want to build a universe.
Did his universe have a design document? And if not, how can he build it?
The end of this year is going to be Squadron 42.
We're going to get it out the end of the year. Hopefully not on December 19th, but
That's what's preventing us releasing the FPS right now and what we plan to release in about 3 weeks' time.
Why does he miss every release date he gives, yet he never seems to miss a spaceship sale?
I looked at the counter, I thought there was a bug, but I guess we just sold all the Corvettes or something. We were finishing dinner, I was looking at the phone, I'm like, hey, we just broke 200,000, and then I refreshed, I'm like, wait a minute, there's a bug. It's suddenly at 348, what the hell happened?
And I want to actively push the boundaries of what you can do in a game.
Congratulations, Chris Roberts, you've made more money.
From Roberts Space Industries, here's Chris Roberts, along with Luke Skywalker himself, Mark Hamill.
Wow.
Chris Roberts is a gaming legend. A nice guy. And the world record holder for biggest crowdfunding success ever. But he has a truth-telling problem. Namely, he doesn't like telling it. Chris's problem has gotten so obvious that even his fanboys have picked up on it.
If they continue to go back on their word on things, they can go back on their word on anything.
And they do have a record of doing that since the beginnings of the company. And everyone says, "Oh yeah, they're considering."
Multiple times they don't do that.
But they do. They lie. They've lied to us.
And they're not all on a first-name basis with reality.
A lot of people have been talking about this whole only 5 to 10 systems on release being a huge problem, and everyone's like, "Oh, but they promised 100." And you know what? You're right. They did promise 100, but guess what? They also promised a Squadron 42 completely separate from Star Citizen.
So episode 1 is what people will play this year.
The things that they promised in 2012, quite frankly, aren't exactly relevant anymore. Things fucking change. We had no idea that we were going to get procedural planets. The promise isn't even fucking for procedural planets. It's for them to look into the possibility of it. They looked into the possibility of it. Guess what? 2 weeks later, you've got a fucking procedural planet.
Nice meltdown. The fanboys have a euphemism for Chris's trustworthiness problem. They call it over-optimism. They say stuff like,
he may have been wrong a lot. He may have been overly optimistic. But I don't think he's ever lied.
Fanboys like to call Chris's lying over-optimism because they think it absolves him of moral culpability.
Game award, you done good.
All
right. No. It just makes you complicit by extension. Or a dumbass. Because it's not over-optimism, it's lying. Chris does it so easily and often, you just might think he was paid by the untruth. In some ways, he is.
Have a great time when you get it in your hands, the first episode next year. Right, Aaron?
That's right, next year.
No more dates.
The actual physics simulation, which is all stuff we'll dial in and won't be there in the final one, but it's still early stages, so.
Carl Sagan often said, extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. So let's get to it. Where should I begin? Well, how about here?
Star Citizen is an epic first-person experience spanning hundreds of solar systems where players can fly highly detailed spaceships, battle on foot through massive space stations, explore life-size planets, and discover adventure in an ever-expanding and changing galaxy.
Sounds great, right? And in some ways it is. A great big load of crap. When you sell your most ambitious future hopes as if they are present realities, that's a lie of exaggeration. Even the fanboys know what kind of lie this is.
No, they give us marketing lies. They give us
marketing lies. Just imagine how Chris would sound if he actually answered the question, what is Star Citizen, honestly? Star Citizen is a buggy first-person pre-alpha spanning 3 moons and a planetoid where players can fly highly expensive spaceships, battle on foot through repetitive space corridors, explore desolate micro-moons, perform basic fetch quests in Chris Roberts' ever-expanding, never-ending sales pitch.
Sure, people may think you're a pompous arse if you come cruising up to the local Cryastro in one, but what do you care? You own a 350R. And they don't.
And that's just one quote from one video out of 1,000. I can go on.
That is my dream. My name is Chris Roberts, and I would like
to build a microverse.
So it's our big end of the year release.
And we will release a fraction of it a year late, as per our tradition.
So you can, yeah, there you go. And the crater to that left, you can see in there, I think the entirety of Skyrim fits inside there. So,
except for the story, dialogue, quests, companions, functional AI, wildlife, monsters, foliage, females. Oh, and the fun. We don't have any of those in my game yet.
and the end of this year is going to be Squadron 42.
Though that may be tough since we won't really start working on it for at least 2 more years.
What are the plans for Star Marine? I know we have FPS mechanics in 2.1, but I'm curious whether the standalone module with Gold Horizon is still in the pipeline. So yes, it is still in the pipeline. I do actually kind of like to say something here, because I sort of get annoyed sometimes when I sort of see this pop up in comments and stuff like, oh, Star Marine's cancelled, or where's Star Marine? I need all this. Well,
Star Marine was cancelled, but I'm planning to mislead you about it as long as possible so we don't look incompetent. I'll admit the truth to Kotaku UK in half a year. Welcome to Open Development.
Been working with Chris for a long time.
Long time.
We've been married for years, but we are pretending otherwise and forcing employees to do the same so nobody thinks we are nepotists.
So a lot of times in development with the publisher, you sort of say, oh yeah, we made our vertical slides, but no one from the publisher is actually like looking at your code and seeing that you completely like gummed it up together at the back to make your milestone, which is that's a very typical developer trick.
I plan to do the same to backers as long as I can get away with it.
Maybe that's not such a good idea.
Lol, what?
How did it? Okay, that's the first time it's ever done that.
Sure thing, Chris.
But you get to see the pull-out twice now.
No. Fanboys watching this will say to all of it,
Chris really believed what he was saying when he said it, so it's not lying.
This is the not guilty by way of insanity defense of Chris Roberts. If you are consoling yourself with hopes that the world's most ambitious and expensive gaming project is being headed by a delusional person rather than a dishonest one, I have a question. What if it's both? like and subscribe.
Try to leave nice space on it.